momentos de guerra, como encontrar a paz? Desde 1945, a Organização das Nações Unidas assumiu o protagonismo desse movimento. No Oriente Médio, por exemplo, houve mais de 10 tentativas de estabelecer a paz na região desde quando os conflitos começaram no pós-guerra. Um marco para as negociações de paz na história foi o Acordo de Paris, que pôs fim à intervenção americana no Vietnã em 1973. A negociação recente mais importante nesse sentido foi a do governo colombiano com as Farc, em 2016. No entanto, acordos para o fim de conflitos são complexos e envolvem diversos atores.
Traditionally, the United Nations, since the Second World Wars, has taken up the role of one of the major mediators and negotiators on the global scale, both between states, but also in intrastate conflict constellations. It's also the membership of more than 190 states that somehow causes a certain authority and legitimacy of the UN to take this major role based on the UN Charter. In general terms, and international organizations like the United Nations is actually dealing with its members, which means it's dealing with states and originally with interstate conflicts. But increasingly, of course, the United Nations and other regional organizations that are involved in conflict mediation also have to deal with non-state actors, in particular those non-state actors that are involved in violent intrastate conflicts that often have spillover effects over the borders of that state to other countries that are then also affected by that conflict, by refugees that originate from that conflict, etc. So the international organizations increasingly face the challenge to identify the actors that they can and are willing to deal with. That's an inherently political question. International organizations can get supported by non-governmental organizations like Amnesty International or Conciliation Resources that is active in conflict mediation or humanitarian dialogue, or the organization created by Martti Ahtisaari who mediated in the conflict about Kosovo. So there is a broadening landscape actually of international organizations, global organizations, regional organizations, as well as non-governmental organizations that are working together, sometimes jointly, sometimes in coexistence, but sometimes they also have struggles with each other, how a peace process should be set up. So peace in the end and peace processes are also very conflicted areas and very conflicted issues. Well, traditionally, where other states and so-called groups of friends, which means a group of states that get engaged in settling a conflict in another state, or with or between other states. So this is a very traditional format of conflict intervention or engagement with conflicts. But that is also based on the idea that those other states or the group of states does not have stakes in that conflict. So that they would be an impartial mediator and facilitator of negotiations. And sometimes a close group of friends can play a very effective role for mediating a conflict, but it is those stakes that are present and the motivators that we assume that make the engagement look illegitimate or very critical, and that comes with being assigned certain interests, as for instance oil, gas, natural resources, or geopolitical interest in a certain region. And I think it all comes together in the Middle East.